Today I'm here to discuss the psychological angle of demonetization. We have seen that people from various walks of life have discussed and analyzed demonetization. We have seen lawyers, we have seen economy experts, we have seen filmmakers, we have seen sports people, and people from different walks of life analyze this. But we haven't seen any doctors analyzing this actually. I'm no doctor, but having studied biology for more than 6 years, I did study a bit of psychology. So I would like to take a standpoint and analyze this from a psychological point of view. First of all, for any experimentation, be it in biology or any other branch of science, we need some permissions. These permissions have to be obtained prior to doing the experiments, and then the experiment has to be well planned out. But in this case of demonetization, as it looks like a very, very huge experiment, I have no idea whether there was another authority which could give permission for this to be carried out, and I don't think this could be planned either. So it looks like Mr. Modi has chosen to experiment with 1.25 billion people just because he felt like, just because he thought that it was time for experiment. Maybe he thought it was too boring, nothing was happening in the country, so he was actually wanting to do an experiment. So naturally this was a very foolish idea, so he would not have discussed it with people who would have had other opinions. So he chose to go ahead with this experiment. Because there was no precedent for this experiment, he was actually trying to throw stones into the dark. Yeah, and hence there was no preparation. So what do you call this kind of a person who chooses to experiment? Let's have a simple example. Let's say person X's father is suffering from diabetes. So one fine morning, person X decides to experiment with his father, and he says, "No, I'm going to starve you for 10 days. Just give you some carrots and some low carb food, maybe some cauliflower and cabbage, and I'm going to put you on this diet for 10 days. Let's see if it can cure your diabetes." So what do you call this kind of person? Just because somebody is suffering from something, it doesn't mean that you can experiment with them. So just because the country was in a disorder, which it has been since independence, doesn't mean that you can experiment as you wish. However the country was, people were living in the country, they were living quite happily, and people were making their livelihood. Yes, there was crime, yes, there was corruption, and there were other malaise which blocked the society, but it doesn't mean that you can just put in your hand and say it's time for experiments. And so coming back to the pre-experiment thinking, so Modi just thought that as the society is having so many is going through a bad phase, let's experiment. So this person has to be sick in his head to think that he can just experiment with the society just because it was in disorder. This kind of people, they should be treated as soon as possible, or else they could cause more damage. And he keeps making statements like, I'm having more packages in offer, and I'm going to do something after the 1st of January or something like that. And they spread more panic than doing good. So this kind of person should actually be treated as soon as possible. I'm not joking here, and I sincerely feel that this person has to undergo a psychological treatment, or else he could turn out to be the next monster. So, and next, I have few more points here. Yeah, many media houses have been saying that they agree with Modi's ideology, but disagree with the implementation. So, first of all, I question him whether there was any ideology behind this. He just thought, let's experiment, and he did it. So there was never a chance of this being implemented properly. So he just wanted to see how it goes. So this is kind of Tom and Jerry idea, which would look good on paper, but it would never happen in reality. It would look, good on paper, because on paper you do not have all the factors that you have in reality. So I mean, this could have looked excellent in a movie, in an anti-corruption movie or something like that, but it doesn't work out in the society, because people have to use cash day in day out. And when people actually asked him to reply to this, he did not. He keeps speaking in various public places, but he doesn't reply to them in the parliament. So this person, I would say, is suffering from antisocial behavior or oppositional defiant disorder. So there is no doubt that this person has to be treated at the earliest. He has to be removed from the office, and he has to be treated at the earliest. Secondly, I would bring to your notice a few points which Mr. Modi actually did. In Japan, he was actually mocking all the people, saying that people ran out of money all of a sudden. He did the demonetization, and he was mocking people that they did not have money for marriages or weddings and to take their mothers to hospital. So if this person is laughing at somebody running out of money to take their mother to hospital, to admit her in a hospital, so, and if you think this person is still fit to be prime minister of a country, I have no words, because this person is laughing that someone is running out of money, and in first place he caused this lack of money. So, and he is like an extreme sadist who derives enjoyment by seeing people in extreme pain. So this has to be set right. This person is no longer fit to run a country, let alone be free individual in the society. And I have seen repeatedly people praise Modi, but how is it possible to praise somebody who did it just for the fun of doing it? It's like a person has a gun and he shoots somebody else for the fun of doing it. What do you call such person? And Modi has already caused more than 100 deaths related to demonetization. So this is like a mass shooting or something on that lines, because he caused more than 130 deaths already. Yeah, so this person is not psychologically intact. He has some problems, and this has to be addressed as soon as possible. And I'm surprised that no media house has analyzed demonetization from this point of view. They have to certainly look at Modi and what he has done over the past, and maybe remove him from office and send him to the required facilities for corrective measures. Thank you very much.